My name is Remo Pedreschi, Professor of Architectural Technology at Edinburgh University for nearly 20 years, and I've just recently retired. I'm really interested in materials and processes, but the way that we manufacture and design with materials. And this came from a period of time in industry, where I worked with a couple of companies that were involved in providing building systems and components. And I realised quite early on in that work that there's no point in designing a product or system if we don't know how to make it properly. We first met Martec through Scottish Enterprise, and we invited Martec to a workshop to discuss and present our research in steel fabrication. We got to know Martec and we visited Martec, and Martec were keen to engage with the university. We saw the range of products and the things that they were doing. What was most interesting to us, steel security doors. And that component of their work seemed to be the closest to what could be a product. And we felt that that was a great scope for a KTP, and we developed a project from there. After the first project, in 2014, Martin sent me an email saying that we're wanting to move the company forward into the next stage of its development, and we want Edinburgh University to be involved. And that became the brief for the KTP. And from that, we developed an idea where the doors and the secure entry would change market direction, move into new areas, part of which was to do with improved aesthetics, and the part was to do improved performance. And on that basis, we went for a 3-year project. We developed a new system, the Premier Vision, which had much better and simpler lines. We moved away from an electromagnetic lock to electromechanical lock, which allowed us to meet the basic overall design requirements, but also gave us extra functionality in that the door could now be used as a safe exit during fire, as well as preventing unintended or criminal access to the building in the first place. So it covered both security and safety, and that gave it a unique position in the marketplace. We became very interested in working with Martec after we visited the factory and the conversations we had with Martin, and I felt that they had quite a range of activities and skills. They were very good at making and manufacturing and responding, but what was more important to me was their attitude towards investing in development. There's never seemed to be a problem to them. I found the KTP process very appealing. Very appealing because once we had developed the partnership, once we had developed the idea, and once we had spoken to the KTP people, the advisor and the centre, and they were in support, we knew that we would get the funding. Before we'd actually put pen to paper. The process is quite a long process. The form requires quite a lot of information, but an awful lot of that is prepared by the KTP Centre, which is incredibly helpful. There's a backwards and forwards relationship. Martec sends people sometimes to Edinburgh to discuss things, and we've asked them for support in other projects. And also in terms of publications, we are developing a couple of publications directly from various bits and pieces. We've hosted a number of events at the university, bringing industry and academia together. The important thing is to network, and have a network which is beyond perhaps your conventional comfort zone. I would recommend KTP to other academics for perhaps 2 reasons. One is that it's actually a good source of research funding and can lead to interesting projects and interesting relationships. And 2, because there's an intellectual interest, but there's also potentially a practical benefit. In the last 2 refs, impact has been a really important component where people are saying, well, what's the impact? It's okay doing this research, but what effect does it have on society? And that could be, in Martec's case, in terms of the business, but it could also be in changing social policy or making a contribution to the way things happen and changing the way things happen. There's a limited number of impact case studies depending on the size of the submission. Now in our case, we had a total of 6 impact case studies. We did a joint submission between architecture and the built environment at Heriot-Watt, and we were able to demonstrate that our KTP with Martec had considerable benefits to the company. I did a little analysis of this. One impact case study is equivalent to 12 academic papers in terms of its contribution to the final score of the results. So it's a very significant impact on the results of the ref.